Sleep when you can play Dom Team Death, the free-for-all, CTF and Sabotage. Man, I play them all from search up to headquarters down the list to demolition. Objectively speaking, to win is my only mission. If I sin, it's not by omission of order.
Hey YouTubers, this is Hardcore Gamer for Life. Welcome to the first episode of my new series, The Science of Online Gaming. In this series, I'll be discussing some of the scientific principles behind the games we play and the online domain in which we play them. In this episode, we'll be discussing the speed of light and how that affects our online gaming. In terms of the human scale of perception, the speed of light is mind-bogglingly fast. Fast enough to circle the world 7 times in a single second. So fast that on almost any kind of scale we humans deal with on a day-to-day basis, it seems instantaneous. However, on a micro or macro scale, in other words, the very small or the very large, the speed of light is shown to be quite finite and limited, and far from instantaneous, as it often appears to be to us, stuck here on our little blue ball. For example, on the macro or very large scale, the limitation of light speed keeps us from achieving interstellar travel to anything further than the nearest stars. Even if we could travel at almost the speed of light, which is still probably a century or two off for us technologically, it would take years to reach the nearest stars, and over 100,000 years just to cross our own galaxy, to mention nothing of the vast stretches of intergalactic space, with distances measuring in the billions of light years. That same limitation, however, gives us a tantalizing glimpse billions of years into the past via the light rays that have been streaming towards us from distant and ancient galaxies, since perhaps nearly the beginning of time itself. On the opposite end of the scale, in the world of the very small, digital packets of information travel over copper wire and on fiber optic cables at 2/3 the speed of light over the internet. Now, when we say someone has faster internet service, that doesn't actually mean the information sent from their device travels any faster over the internet, but that their service allows them to have a larger number of bits that are traveling at once down the same connection. With a transmission speed that is fixed and near optimal, the only other way to make connections faster would be to increase the speed at which you switch them from one connection to the other at the junction points. Internet routers are getting faster and faster, with switching speeds nearing instantaneous, while fiber optics and wireless technologies are enabling networks to send much larger numbers of bits at once. The internet is getting even faster, but no matter how fast it gets, we'll never outgrow the limitations of light speed with anything resembling our current technology. Since light speed is about 300,000 kilometers a second, this means digital communications travel at about 200,000 kilometers a second, slowing down only because copper and fiber optic materials are about 1/3 thicker than a vacuum. At this speed, 2 computers have to be on opposite sides of the planet to experience a 1/10 of a second communications delay. So for most applications on modern internet connections, this, practically speaking, amounts to real time. So how does this affect us as gamers, you might be wondering? It's only when you venture into the world of Twitch-based multiplayer online gaming where milliseconds make all the difference that you begin to see the effect the limitation of light speed in conjunction with the differences in individual connections have on our gaming. They cause that most dreaded phenomenon that we gamers know as lag. In a perfect world where all your connections were 50 up and 50 down without random lag spikes, these factors would be easily accounted and compensated for. But for the foreseeable future at least, lag is something unavoidable that we're going to have to contend with when strapping on our virtual combat boots, dedicated servers or no, regardless of how they tune lag compensation. Which, by the way, is in every shooter game in some form or another. In the old Call of Duty games, it was structured so that the advantage was with the host and those with the best connections. In Modern Warfare 3, they attempted to structure it so that everyone, regardless of connection, would get an even shake. It was a great thought, but too ambitious in my opinion, and I think they would really do better to patch it back to the old system. It wasn't perfect, but I think the majority of Call of Duty players would agree with me that it was better than the current system. Since it appears the playing field cannot be truly leveled in this way, it makes better sense to me to give the advantage to those who pay for that privilege by buying the best possible internet connection. If you can't make it fair and balanced for everyone, which it seems clear at this point that's not possible, it seems only fair to give the advantage to those who go to the extra expense of buying a good connection. So, this has been my first episode of The Science of Online Gaming. Thanks for viewing, and any feedback you can give me is super appreciated. Subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future videos. So, what does all this mean to us as gamers? Well, for one thing, it would seem to suggest that while developers can certainly do their part to help reduce the effects of lag in their online games, much of it is due to uncontrollable variables, and until we come up with a form of instantaneous transmission of information, most complaints about lag start to seem as silly as complaining about the law of gravity.
Simple. Change the gravitational constant of the universe.
What?
Change the gravitational constant of the universe.
Redefine gravity. And how am I supposed to do that?
You just do it!
Keep it on the dial where you know that it's hot. Cause you know that on my channel I upload a lot of videos of all different types of varieties. Gameplays, mini tashes, live comms, even some comedy bits. Ain't no playlist titled Greatest Hits, not yet, but you can bet.